Lost all my limbs in an almost fatal factory accident back in the day. The last 10 years of my life consisted of being pushed on a wheelchair by my brother. God bless him. He put me on to Yeat, and as soon as this song came out, both my arms and legs grew back instantaneously so I could get up and crank with the goat. Me and my Twizzy have been doing nothing but sip and walk and counting up racks ever since. Thank you, Yeat. That's some powerful stuff. I've been tracking music for about 7 years, since like 2015 was when I was putting together playlists and really diving deep. Obviously listening to stuff since before then, but like that's when I really was paying attention. It seems like 2022 has by far been the worst year that I've been alive for music. Nothing interesting happened. I was trying to think if it's just like nostalgia, if I'm looking back, on the years and think like, oh, so much dope stuff was happening, or if it actually is that like this year has really fallen flat. So I want to recap of some of the big releases in music that have been really important to me. Let's wind back all the way to 2015. If you're reading this, it's too late. Drake's biggest album, What a Time to Be Alive, Drake and Future collaborative album produced by Metro Boomin. Huge names in hip-hop. Jack U, Skrillex, and Diplo came out with an album together. Two of the biggest names in dance music featured Justin Bieber. Carrie and Lowell by Sufjan Stevens. Ray Shremmerd came out with Shrem Life. Trap Soul by Bryson Tiller. Rodeo, huge album from Travis Scott. Purpose, Justin Bieber, Weeknd, Beauty Behind the Madness, which was Hills, which was Can't Feel My Face. 2016, we've got Life of Pablo. Starboy by The Weeknd. Used by Drake had his biggest track, One Dance. I Love It When You're Sleeping by the 1975. Free Black by Black. Closer by the Chainsmokers, probably one of the biggest records of the last decade. Bruno Mars came out with 24 Karat Magic, which was a really dope record. Really actually well produced if you go back and listen to it. 2017, Love is Rage 2, Culture by Migos, Damn by Kendrick Lamar. Probably my favorite Kendrick record to date. Controversial. Shape of You by Ed Sheeran. Not a track that I'm listening to often, but 3.3 billion streams on Spotify, biggest record on Spotify to date. Beer Bongs and Bentley in 2018 from Post Malone, which is a great record. Astroworld by Travis Scott. Culture 2, a lot of great tracks on it. Juice WRLD, Goodbye and Good Riddance, which was really influential. Ariana Grande, Sweetener. Scorpion by Drake, which had God's Plan. Drip Too Hard by Baby Ain't Gonna. Going Bad, Meek Mill and Drake. XXXTentacion, Question Mark, which had a lot of huge records. Jack Boys in 2019. Bop by DaBaby. Ariana Grande, Thank You. Billie Eilish first album, Old Town Road by Lil Nas X, which even if you think it's goofy and dumb, is a huge record. 2020, where things really got fun, didn't they? What's Poppin'? Jack Harlow, After Hours by The Weeknd had some of his biggest tracks. Blinding Lights, obviously being huge. Ariana Grande, Positions, Heat Waves by Glass Animal. 2021, we have Donda by Ye. CLB right after that from Drake was really hyped. Stay by The Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber. Olivia Rodrigo came out with her first album. Silk Sonic, Anderson .Paak, and Bruno Mars. Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler, the Creator. Now we get to today. 2022, we have Kendrick Lamar. It was a good album. It wasn't my favorite, but a lot of people loved it. I think it's some people's favorites. Taylor Swift had a big release, which is making waves. My favorite album of the year is Future's album. It has a lot of good hits on it. The R&B, hip-hop balance is really nice. Past that, the most interesting thing that I stumbled across this year and who's been making big waves this year is Yeat. Yeat, honestly, is more interesting than any of the artists I just named. Kendrick's just doing Kendrick. He's just a great rapper. But as far as pushing sounds forward, Yeat's the only unique artist that I've seen in the past 5 years, maybe. Everyone else is some variation of something else. Like, for instance, Kid Laroi is a big artist that came out in the last 5 years. Justin Bieber, that's a little edgier in raps. Olivia Rodrigo, she's just like a edgy Taylor Swift that steals Paramore songs. A lot of the actual unique, influential artists that were coming up passed away. Before we even lost them, there were already people copying their sound and kind of driving it into the ground. I feel like Juice WRLD had something unique, and then people just basically replicated his whole sound. I don't want to say that takes away from what he did, but it doesn't really like stand out as much. But past that, there's not really anything that's unique until Yeat. Yeat is not any version of anything. I know he's just a mumble rapper. How much talent he has is arguable, but he isn't like anything I've ever seen. He's not any version of anything else. His Still Countin' music video, boom, like I was hooked. The way he raps is interesting. The beat choices are really fun. Ultimately, it's just like something new, for the love of God. Like everything else is just repeating itself. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, I'm glad Future made the album he did. It's exactly what I would have done if I was Future. But it's not like crazy unique. It's not like when I heard March Madness for the first time and I was like, oh, this is like something new. Nothing's new anymore except for Yeat is 7 mil on the table, and he's still saying Tonka. Yeat is Balenciaga my sweatsuit. I got your bitch so wet in a wetsuit. Yeat is I f***ed my money up so much it told me it came. Yeat is throwing every bit of self-awareness to the wind and taking on all these tropes and cliches in hip-hop and trap and just steering into them, and actually so much that he actually like is becoming innovative. He's not my favorite rapper of all time by any means, but he's the only interesting thing that happened this year. Because I think back when I like first heard What a Time to Be Alive, and I thought, oh, this is a new kind of rap. I think about the first time I heard March Madness and I thought, oh, this is like a new kind of rap. Or the first time I watched the No Type video and I was like, oh, this is fun, it's fresh, it's new. Or when I listened to Love is Rage 2 and I listened to that a ton, and it was all like new and fresh and unique and really good. It's the thing I'm gonna look back on in 2022 is the time that I saw a bell in a music video turn into a UFO, and Yeat saying this song was already turned, but here's a bell. Bow. I don't know. So what do you think? You think Yeat's trash? You think some of these white bread artists are better? Is there someone that's influential that I'm just missing, that I'm not hearing about? Either way, fingers crossed, 2023 is a way better year for music than 2022. Appreciate you watching. I'll catch you on the next one.